You know what the real nightmare is? Not the losing them, not even the pain that followed. The real nightmare is admitting to yourself that you saw it coming all along. I've been running from this truth for months now, maybe longer, pretending it was sudden, pretending it was some cruel twist of fate that took the person I loved more than I thought possible. But that's not what happened, is it? Life has this way of pulling people in different directions, not because it's malicious, not because someone did something wrong, but because that's just how it works. People grow, people change, people find new paths that sometimes lead away from the people who used to walk beside them. And I knew. Deep down, I fucking knew. I saw the way conversations started getting shorter. I felt the distance growing, even when we were sitting right next to each other. I watched as their eyes began looking toward horizons that didn't include me. But I refused to see it. I kept telling myself it was temporary, that we'd find our way back to each other, that love, real, unconditional love, was enough to bridge any distance. What a beautiful, naive lie, I told myself. The truth I've been hiding from is this. Sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes caring deeply, being there unconditionally, giving everything you have. Sometimes it still isn't enough to keep people in your life, not because you're not worthy, not because what you shared wasn't real, but because life is bigger than any individual connection. They didn't leave me for someone else. They didn't stop caring. Life just pulled us apart, like two rivers that flow together for a while before splitting into different directions, each following their own course toward different destinations. It's not betrayal, it's not failure, it's just the natural flow of existence. But I broke when I finally accepted this, really broke. Spent weeks in this room, replaying every conversation, every moment, trying to find the exact point where I could have changed the outcome. But that's the thing about life. It doesn't wait for our permission to change course. The hardest part wasn't losing them. The hardest part was realizing that I had to let go of the version of myself that needed them to stay. That version of me that thought love was possession, that believed if you cared enough, tried hard enough, sacrificed enough, you could make someone choose to stay in your life forever. They taught me what it meant to love someone completely, what it felt like to be vulnerable, to trust, to open your heart so wide it felt like it might burst. The depth of connection we shared, the way we could sit in comfortable silence or talk for hours about everything and nothing, that was real. That mattered. That shaped me into someone capable of profound feeling. But I'm different now, older in ways that have nothing to do with time. I've learned to sit with the emptiness they left behind without trying to fill it with anger or blame or desperate hope for their return. I've learned that acceptance doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop fighting reality. Here's what I know now that I wish I'd known then. People aren't meant to be permanent fixtures in your life. They're meant to be chapters, some longer than others, but all serving a purpose in the story of who you become. They showed me depths of feeling I didn't know I was capable of. They taught me what it meant to be truly seen and accepted for who I am. Those gifts don't disappear when they do. I'm not the same person who loved so desperately, who held on so tightly that I squeezed the life out of what we had. I'm someone who's learning to love differently, to love fully but hold lightly, to appreciate what is without demanding what might be. This new journey I'm on, it's not about finding a replacement for what I lost. It's about discovering who I am when I'm not defined by my connection to them. It's about building a life that's complete on its own, not just a half-life waiting to be fulfilled by someone else's presence. I'm learning to be comfortable in my own company, learning to make decisions based on what I want, not what I think will bring them back to me. Learning to see my own worth without needing it reflected back to me through their eyes. Some nights I still miss them. Miss the way they laughed at my terrible jokes, the feeling of being completely understood, the simple comfort of knowing they existed in the same world as me. But that missing doesn't feel desperate anymore. It feels grateful. Grateful for what was, even if it couldn't last forever. I'm not aged much, but I feel like I've lived several lifetimes already. But maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe being forced to grow up fast means I get to build something stronger, something more authentic than what came before. I'm not looking backward anymore, waiting for them to return or for things to go back to how they were. I'm looking forward, toward a version of myself I haven't met yet, toward experiences I can't imagine, connections I haven't made, love that doesn't require me to lose myself to keep it. The nightmare isn't losing someone you love. The nightmare is staying small and desperate and afraid because you can't imagine a life without them. But here I am, living proof that you can survive the loss of someone you thought you couldn't live without. Not just survive, grow, evolve, become someone better. Life pulled them in a different direction, and it's pulling me too. Toward independence, toward self-discovery, toward a kind of strength I never knew I had, toward a future that belongs entirely to me. And for the first time in a long time, that doesn't feel like settling. It feels like coming home to myself. The person I loved didn't become my enemy or my cautionary tale. They became my teacher. They taught me that love can be pure and real and transformative, even when it doesn't last forever. They taught me that letting go isn't giving up, it's growing up. I loved them completely, and that love made me who I am today. Someone capable of profound feeling, someone who knows what real connection looks like, someone who's learned to love himself enough to build a beautiful life with or without them in it.